If you're looking for the cutest little Mother's Day card, I have got you covered this week, my friends. Welcome to our Take 5 Mixed Media YouTube collab hosted by Funky Junk Inspiration. We've got all kinds of creative goodness for you this week. Make sure that you follow along in the entire playlist. It's linked in the video description. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video out with everybody that you think would enjoy it. And obviously, come back and see us next time. Bye, everybody. So this is a Mother's Day card kit. I have the whole kit printed so you can kind of see what it looks like. This is my test run, which I always do on regular paper. We're going to put this together. It folds out like this. It's intended to look like a little purse. And you can, glue some ribbon to the back and then, do a little tie closure, or you can do your Velcro dots right there as a closure. It opens up like this, and you've got your little flip outs, and you've got places to add things and write things. There are pockets and little cards and all of that with this that we will get to on the more finished product, but I wanted to just put it together like this. One, so I knew what I was doing, and two, so I would have something when I first started to show you all what in the world we're doing. And if we have time, I have a second paper crafting project. So, and I will drop links when I am done on where you can find these kits. There's a digital download version of this. There is a physical version of this, even though we're getting a little close with it being Mother's Day. And then I also have a printable version of the other thing, which is a graduation themed kit that I will show you if we have time. So let me walk through this. I always like to walk through this first. So this is the printable folio card. Sure, call it whatever you want. The other thing that I like about this is that there's not much already printed on here that actually says Mother's Day. Okay, so we're going to start. So this is cover A and cover B, and these attach together like this. So we'll do that. And then you can really do whichever one you want, because these are like double-sided, right? It'll eventually be double-sided. So one of these designs will be on the inside and one of these designs will be on the outside. So you can do whichever one you want. I'm going to do that one on the outside so that we have a little bit of variation. I got everything cut. I did not get stuff inked, so we're going to do that real quick. So we're going to use a combination of my Tombow glue stick and my Tombow liquid glue. I use a little bit of both. Now on my sample that I showed you, because that was just regular printer paper, I mostly just used my glue stick. But this is a medium weight cardstock. And so it's a little thicker, a little heavier. And because there's lots of bends and folds in this card, I like to add a little bit of what my friend Serena calls snot glue. That just gives it a little bit extra reinforcement. I'm always laughing when I watch her do a paper crafting project live, and she calls her liquid glue snot glue. I mean, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. But she's like, yeah, we're gonna add a little bit of our snot glue here, and it just makes me chuckle. And gonna use some binder clips on these edges because we're gluing, but we're moving it around a lot because we're still working with it. So that kind of helps it hold in place. So who has jumped on the Disney bandwagon, and let us know what you got. Curious. I'm loving how well, and actually any of the licensed. I mean, obviously we started last year with Peanuts, and then we started off this year with Harry Potter, which I was just over the moon about, and I'm anxiously awaiting the next. Oh, I forgot to put. Oh well, that's okay. We'll reinforce it on the edges. I forgot to put my snot glue on that. Anxiously awaiting the next round of Harry Potter transfers. So I love seeing what my customers are buying. I love seeing what they're creating with. So I love knowing what other people do. Did anybody get Winnie the Pooh? We broke the internet again, I think, with Winnie the Pooh, even though they ordered extra based on the first round of Disney. I think we still broke the internet. Okay, so this is what we've got. This is our outside, right? This is this. Okay. So then, and I have my, yes, I have to write it down because when I'm doing this kind of stuff live and I get started talking, I get ahead of myself and I'll end up missing a step or gluing something down in the wrong way. And so I have to like write it out so that I have something to stop and look at. Okay, so we're going to move this over to the side for a second because now what we're going to do is we have, those are pockets. So we have our bottom, let me get keep my sample here. So we've got our little flaps on the inside, right? So we have a bottom and a top and they're double-sided. So we're just gonna glue those together. So these are pockets, so we'll deal with those in a minute. Top flap inside, top flap outside, bottom flap outside, bottom flap inside. Now it does not matter. You can mix these all up. You can put the outside on the inside and vice versa. It really does not matter. It is entirely up to you. It's a complete design choice. So we're going to ink these edges real quick. All the things I was doing before we got started, I should have taken the time to ink these edges. Well, I should have done it when I finished cutting it. I finished cutting this out like 3 or 4 days ago. So yeah, so I'm anxiously awaiting my Winnie the Pooh stuff. And I will tell you what will break me. What is going to break the bank for me are when we get into our fall holidays, because Disney owns Hocus Pocus, or no, Warner Brothers. No, Disney. Disney owns Hocus Pocus. So fingers crossed for that. And Warner Brothers, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, is Warner Brothers. Now, we've already gotten a little bit of a nod to that. I think it's actually already been publicized that we're getting that and Elf for sure with the holiday releases. So those 3 things are going to break me. Because yeah, that I'm that girl, right? Our door hanger for Christmas, and I apologize because I'm going to cuss here in a second. Our door hanger for Christmas already says "Jolliest Bunch of Assholes" this side of the nut house. I made that a couple of years ago with just wood letters and stuff like that. So yeah, you know, seriously, Clark, and like all of the things. I want one that says "I fixed the newel post," even though a lot of times when I say that, even to the most avid Christmas Vacation fans, they don't know what I'm talking about. But for whatever reason, that was always the Christmas Vacation quote in my house. Like literally in the middle of June, my dad would like bust out, "I fixed the newel post," and my sister and I would just crack up laughing. So, yeah, so I'm excited about those. We, the Winnie the Pooh stuff that's sold out has actually already been reordered. They, I think, reordered Winnie the Pooh when they reordered the initial Disney, just based on the response to that. They were like, yeah, this is probably going to go over well, so let's go ahead and reorder, restock this stuff. So that's already been reordered. So that is all coming back. I know, I cracked up. So excited about that. But I think my Winnie the Pooh order has already shipped. And I got all of it, you guys. Like, I was like, nope, you're going to be good. You're not going to go crazy. Yeah. Bought the whole bundle for the traditional transfers and the heat transfers. So much for that. I mean, they did have the promo for the Parks members and the designers, where you got the $30 extra in design dollars, which pushed me over the edge. I mean, I was going to buy stuff from the release. I wasn't going to buy everything. But I bought everything. It is what it is. Okay. So now we have our, oh, I didn't glue them. Oops. See, this is why I have to write it down, you guys. Because I do the thing and I get to talking and then I miss a step, like gluing these pieces together. Okay. So we're going to glue these pieces together. And who has vacation plans already set? We are 4 weeks away, actually, because I've been gotten my days off all week. I think I told my husband last night when we were eating dinner, this time in 4 weeks, we will be eating our first dinner on vacation, but that's not true. That's today. So we are going back down to the Keys, which has become our new happy place. Now, when you're lining this up, you can line it up either at the bottom or at the top. I try to line it up at the bottom, or sorry, at the top, because the tab at the bottom is going to get covered. And so if I am misaligned in some way because of my cut job, it's less noticeable at the bottom. It's less of a big deal. Now I'm misaligned a little bit anyway. We might take my scissors and trim that up. I'm going to let that dry. And we'll probably just add a little more ink, because that's what the ink does. Switch that up. I did not. That's okay. No, it's not. Let me do these first. See, this is why. I will say chalk projects are a little bit easier for me to do live than paper crafting, just because there's a lot of moving parts in paper crafting. And if I'm not doing an overly complicated chalk project, like you get the transfer down, you put your paste on, you fill the transfer up, that you're good to go. But as you can tell, I have all these moving parts here, and I talk and I get distracted. That's okay, because I still have, I'm doing really good on time, so we're going to be just fine. We may not get to that second project, but I will actually record it and get it on my YouTube channel, so that will work. A little ink on these edges here, and this is just the Tim Holtz Distress ink. This is the Scorched Timber. I also like the Walnut Stain, and the Vintage Photo, which I can't find my Vintage Photo. It has disappeared. It's here somewhere. It's just a question of where. My craft space has been in an overhaul for a while. Really trying to destash and make the space more functional. And it's taking me longer than I would have wanted it to. And so some things are still a bit in disarray. And because of that, our guest room looks like the house exploded in it, because I'm kind of using that as a staging areas for some things to keep it out of my craft space while I'm organizing. Things that I'm like, yes, I know where I want that to go, but I don't have that space set up yet. So like trying not to bring it down here and just add to stuff that I just have to keep moving around. But every time my husband has to go in the guest room for something, he just he doesn't glare at me, but he wants it done. I mean, I want it done too, but you know, my day job gets in the way. Let's be honest. Let's be honest about that. All right, so I'm going to trim this up just a smidge here. Probably have to reapply a little bit of ink. There are some advantages to inking after you put the stuff together, for sure, because sometimes if you trim up, you end up like cutting off your ink. So I do both. Sometimes I do it one way, sometimes I do it the other. If I'm really thinking about it, I will ink after I have everything all put together, because I'll be like, oh wait, I might have to trim, so let's not ink everything yet. Okay, that looks good. Now this one is a little bit of a mess. So we are gonna trim this a little bit. You can also use, if you have the Tim Holtz Distress pencils, because these little bitty teeny tiny places, especially like on these curves where I'm misaligned and so I've got some white sticking out, are kind of hard to get with an ink dauber. So if you have the distress pencils, or if you have the alcohol markers or fine tip Sharpies, those work really well for areas where your ink is, you have like white from a misaligned cut job and your ink isn't covering it. I think I've been wanting to for a while now. Yeah, I mean, I just like, there are days, Trina, that I'm like, just give me a dumpster. Just bring a dumpster. It's all going and I'm just starting over. You know, I mean, my bank account can't allow me, you know, doesn't allow me to do that, but man, I definitely have those days. Just too much stuff. I have decided this week, like going forward until everything is out of the house that needs to get out of the house, every time I leave the house, a box for Goodwill is going in the car. I don't care how small of a box it is. Just fill a box of stuff and drop it off, because we have a Goodwill close. Apologize, I need to take a sip. We have a Goodwill close, and it's typically on my way, or can be on my way anywhere. And so that's easy to do. You guys, is this not the cutest little thing? I love this thing. I was watching somebody else in a live and she had one of those, and I was like, oh, I need that. It's so handy. Okay, so now we have these bent, which is nice. Okay, so top flap outside, top flap inside. I can take my binder clips off, and then bottom flap outside, bottom flap inside. Now you can put these wherever you want. If you want one on the outer edge and one in the middle, or if you want both on the outer edge, you can do that. It is, again, entirely up to you. I'm going to flip this over and put these on this way because it's just a little bit easier. And we're going to having a shredding company come next week to the house. Wow, that's amazing. I get it. I completely get it. Yeah. So I have a file cabinet. And one drawer, 1.5 drawers is all like memorabilia stuff in folders marked by the year, stuff that I need to scrapbook. But the other 3, and one is actually files. But the other 2 are just stacked full of papers that I don't even know anymore how much of it needs to be kept. And I'm not even dealing with that until I deal with everything else because it's closed. It's contained. I don't have to look at it. Do that. And then I'm going to put a binder clip back on there. It'll just put enough pressure on that corner. Maybe. There we go. To kind of hold that together for a second while I mess with this. These binder clips are really great if you're doing an accordion journal and you're gluing all the accordion pages together. And as you're like moving things around, you're like, the glue's not dry, but you're having to move things. Clip those pages together as you work your way through the rest of the accordion. Okay, bottom flap outside. So that's like that. Or you can do it like that. Now I did the sample like that. So I think we're going to do this one the other way. So I'll put this one on the outside. Again, entirely up to you. And honestly, if you don't want these pieces, you don't even have to use these pieces because it works just fine. These are not a like piece that's required for the card to be functional. Just more pretties on the inside. Add a little bit of snot glue. I'm gonna have to message her and be like, okay, so you've done it. I'm now calling liquid glue snot glue when I go live. Thank you, or record videos. Thank you, Serena. Right, so there's that. The other thing I want to do with this design, because I have the template for it, the Canva template for it, is make a couple of variations. So with different patterns and things like that. 3 boxes right now to go to Goodwill. Yep. I have one for sure. Well, I have one box, thing that's already boxed up. And then I have a whole bunch of clothes I keep a plastic tub in our closet so that when I purge clothes, I have some place to put them automatically. And all of those need to be boxed up. And I have a ton of empty boxes right now, so it's good timing for that. So tomorrow we are contemplating buying new living room furniture. Oh shoot. Speaking of, I got to remember to call them when I get done live. We are contemplating buying new living room furniture, and we have an appointment tomorrow to see the 3D renderings of the furniture, with our chosen fabric and stuff. So on our way tomorrow. Several boxes are going in the car and going to Goodwill. Okay, so this is where we are. We have the inside. So we've attached our flaps to the cover, and I'm going to let the glue set, and then we'll manipulate them so that they fold. And then now we're going to work on the middle section. So I'm going to move that out of the way. I'm going to pull out my sample real quick so you can see again what I'm talking about. So this is what we just glued to the cover. And then we have these middle pages are sort of signature pages. And then these two right here are the liner pages. So that's all we have left to like put this together. And then it's just a matter of, I keep meaning to do that, just a matter of the decorating part. So I have the lining pages, which we'll do in a second, and the middle pages. And these get glued into the journal itself. You do not glue these together. So I'm going to go ahead and, is this the one? No, it's the liner page. Yeah, this is the one that I cut the tab off. Okay. But I'm going to go ahead and score these and bend them. But one of these, if you wanted to, might make it a little bit easier. We're actually going to cut the tab off because you don't, the only reason the tab is on there is to identify what page it is, if that makes any sense. I'll show you all that in 1 second. But just in case, because you don't actually have to cut the tab off because it's going to get covered. Oh, actually, no, it's not going to get covered. So on one of these, you do want to cut the tab off as I think this through. It takes me probably like 5 or 6 times of putting the same thing together before I can do it without having to think about it. So I have the woman who made this design. There's a group of us that are licensed to carry her designs, create with them, sell the finished, and sell the kits themselves. And she's teaching us how to like create our own designs and stuff too. So she has a series of accordion files, accordion journals, and the accordion is the only one, because I've done enough of them. Oh, nice, Trina. That's amazing. So my scrapbook stuff isn't bad. It's just not great. It's just not exactly the way I want it. My embellishments, my paper is great. My ribbon's a disaster right now. But I had it was called a scrap rack, and that's how I organized all my embellishments and stuff. And it was just taking up too much room. And so I'm in the middle of changing over all of that. So all of that's kind of a mess right now. Yeah, being sick puts a damper on everything. Because you just, if you try to do stuff anyway, you just prolong the sickness. Or if you're like me, you get sick where you're too sick, you feel too crappy to do anything, but not so crappy that all you can do is lay on the couch. I hate that in between. I'm like, will you please just knock me on my butt and get it over with? Okay. So we're going to take this off. Always places where, I may need to go back and touch up my glue when I'm finished. I always kind of try to bend things as I'm going, because to make it all a little bit easier once it's all put together. Okay. So these are our middle pages. So this is, I've got glue like remnants everywhere. So this is the middle back. So this is the one we're going to cut the tab off because you don't need it. This is just to identify it. Will that get covered with the liner? Hold on. I don't think if you absolutely have to cut that off. Yes, because the liner doesn't. Sorry, I'm having a moment. Where's the tab for that? That goes under. Okay. Yep. Got it. No, that doesn't make sense. Okay, now my notes are messing me up. Sorry, I'm having a brain problem. Okay. We need the liner pages. We're going to do the liner pages. Let me sleep it off without interruption. Yes. I literally just put 2 of these together yesterday and today. You would think I wouldn't be having this problem. But yeah, I'm the same way. Like just make it so I can't function so that I am not fighting with myself about it, and then I can get over it. So we're going to glue these together, but I'm going to score them and bend them first. Because that just makes it easier to bend it all later. Because this is, oh, I know what I did. I know why I was having problems. Hee. Liner pages. Liner pages, not middle pages. Liner pages. Read. Words are hard. Okay. Hee. So the lining pages are this, right? The lining pages are this. Okay. So those will go in like that, right? And you can cut the tab off of this one or not, because it will get covered. And then the other part of the flap covers that, right? So that all covers. Now, these are our middle pages, kind of the variation of a signature. We're going to glue these together, right? Now, what will happen is we'll put one liner page down. We'll put the middle page down. The other liner page goes on top of that tab. And then this will be the part that folds. Okay. All right. I got it. Hee. I got it. We're all good here. Okay. So we're going to glue this together. And then I will ink it once it's glued together, because then we can get it all trimmed up and see where we're going. Good and heavy. I am glad it's getting, I'm glad that I have a little bit more humidity in the house. So over in the winter months when it was like super dry, despite the fact that we run humidifiers, I was hardly able to ever use my glue stick for anything, because it would dry faster than I could get pieces put together. Yeah, it's hard, right? And it's hard when you have stuff going on, and it's hard when you have that moment where you're like, oh, I feel okay. Oh, I already inked this. And then you realize that no, that was a bad idea. couple of weeks ago, I had a trip planned with my girlfriends from high school. We were spending a long weekend in Brown County, Indiana. And we were going on Thursday and staying until Sunday. And on Monday, I started feeling bad. So I started like taking Zicam and taking cold medicine and, you know, the vitamin C drops and drinking orange juice and all that. But by Thursday, I knew, like, I was like, I can't make a 4-hour drive. So I decided, I stayed home on Thursday, and literally all I did was sleep because I was already off work and everything anyway. And I got up Friday morning at like 5:30, and I was like, okay, I feel all right. Let's take a shower. Took a shower. I was like, okay, that didn't do me in. And I was out the door by 7:30, and that did it. I was fine. But I took it a little slow while I was getting ready. So I was like, this is gonna make it or break it. Like I always tell my husband, let me take a shower. And if taking a shower makes me feel worse than I did before I took a shower, then I know I'm not okay. All right, so our middle pages are glued together. Oh, good grief. Middle pages are glued together. And then I'm going to leave the liner on here, or the tab on here, just to help me line this up a little bit. Oh, I didn't ink that. Real quick. And I don't know what is going on this year, but my allergies have already just started to put me through the ringer. Like, no. And I mean, that started back in March, before anything had really started to bloom or stuff was really starting to grow. Like, what is happening right now? So coming up next after me is Melanie, MC Creations. And then Angie with Redo the Room. And then our fearless leader, Tarina with Create with Tree. That's me. I still have about 15 minutes, so we are doing good. But stick around. When I am done, all you'll need to do is just refresh the page. And then the videos will be in the group for about 30 days. And then I will take this and put this on my YouTube channel, so that if you ever wanted to come back and find it, you can do that, which is just Girl Friday Crafts on YouTube. Super simple. Getting stuff lined up is half the battle. Throw a little bit of snot glue on here. Forgetting to do that. Right in the, sort of in that fold area. So again, you could cut that off if you don't want it there, but you're not going to be able to see it. So the inside of this is a hot mess. Keep knocking my glue over. I think that's part of the problem. That stapler can't stay there. So there's that. And so now we're going to put we need to put our middle pages in so that tab will get covered. Now I will say this, I didn't even think about this till now. So one advantage to cutting this off is that it's going to make, having the tabs all there is going to make this a little thick right here. It should be fine. Like everything should glue down fine. But if you cut that tab off, that's just a little less thickness, for lack of a better word, just a little less stuff sticking everything together. Now we're going to use the liquid glue here because these are going to, I think my glue is clogged. Should I use my zip dry? Oh no, there we go. Okay, is it just me, or is there anybody else who in the paper crafting world who does not like zip dry? I feel like I am the only person I know that does paper crafting that hates zip dry. I can't stand it. I will use it in a pinch, particularly because the tip on my zip dry bottle is really, really skinny. And so when you're doing little embellishments and things like that, it is easier. But I will take my Tombow over my zip dry any day. I'm gonna ink this. On here, I'm actually managing to not. Yeah, I don't love it. I don't love it. Okay. So then this is going to go here. And that gets lined up right at that crease. People who swear by it, but I am not one of those people. Now I can get glue all over the inside of this because it's just all going to get covered up. So just adding more glue to where there's already going to be glue anyway. Just trying not to get glue on the little flaps here. And I'm trying to leave a smidge of room so that when you bend it, it's not folding this, right? So that the fold is clean at the edge and it doesn't try to fold this second page. I'll show you what I mean in a second on my sample. Because, you know, your instinct is to line everything up flush. Can I pull that back up? Nope, that's stuck. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. I'm a little too far down here. So that's going to take a little finessing. Yeah, see, so this is kind of thick right here because I have 3 tabs stacked on top of each other. So I think if I were going back and doing this again on this side, the liner page, I would have cut that tab off because you don't need it for anything. It's just to identify, mostly in the kit, it's just to identify the page. Been super windy here the past few days. Yeah. Well, and that's what's been hard for me because my allergies have been acting up so much this year already, is when I started feeling bad a couple weeks ago, I didn't know if it was just my allergies or if I was really getting sick. So, you know, I took the Zicam the first day. I don't think I took any cold medicine until that night, just so I would get a decent night's sleep. And then the next day I was like, I think this is more than just allergies. Because I always start out with a sore throat. So I woke up that Monday morning with a sore throat. But my nose was running really bad, and I thought that sore throat was just drainage and the runny nose was just my allergies, but I don't think that was it, because by Tuesday afternoon I had a fever. So all right, little snot glue here. I'm sorry if me calling the snot glue is bothering anybody. Little liquid glue. I mean, we're all, you know, we've all been around kids. It's not like we don't know what it is. May not be a term we use all the time when we talk about paper crafting, but all right, I have about 7 minutes. So I think what we're going to do is just, I'm going to show you the decorations on this. I'm going to do a YouTube video on the other project, so you guys can check that out. I'll drop a link when the video in the group when the video is done. It's just a little like DIY graduation. I'm calling it a money holder, but it could be a gift card holder, or that sort of thing. So again, just very seasonally appropriate. All right, so we're all put together. This is our main structure, right? And now we just got to fold. Get everything to fold, okay. And that one's gonna be a bear because I went a little bit too far down on the page. That one's folding great. That one's good. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Might ink a little bit on that top part. Okay, so then this will all fold in like this when you're finished. And you can get little Velcro dots there to close it. And then add, you know, ribbon around it, or you could just use a ribbon closure. So we have all kinds of little pockets and cards and things like that that you can put in this. You can put some stuff on the back of it if you want to. So we have pockets for these. Yeah, we're going to do it that way. I've lost my bone folder. And then the other thing is that there's probably more embellishment type things in here than you might want to use in this particular project. So you can always sorry. The words just stopped for a second. So you can always use that stuff in another project. You can also take these designs once they're cut out and trace any other papers that you have that you might want to like pop into your particular card. So you're not completely limited to just what it looks like, just the elements that you have here. I always encourage people, if you have a principle that you really like, you know, the shape of or something like that, trace it before you start putting it together so that you can mimic that particular shape in another project. So that's just a little pocket right there that you can tuck some things down in. I'm not going to do the other one because I'm going to show you all of the various things that are in here. So we've got these little ones that can go on here. And then you've got little tags that you can use. These are really cute, like to make like little dangles. Just punch a hole in all three of those, loop some ribbon through that. You can tuck these little cards down in these pockets. And then, of course, because you can use chalk on paper, you've got lots of open white, space here that you take your surface wax, and if you've got a chalk couture design or a sentiment or something like that that you would want included in or incorporated into this, then you just add that in. And you can use ink or paste for that. You just want to make sure that if you're doing that on paper, that you use the surface wax. Which reminds me, I've got to go put some surface wax in my wish list. I am running very low. I don't use it often, but I do use it when I'm doing paper projects. And then you've got these other little pockets that you can put, you can put in here like this. And you can tuck little notes in here. You can tuck pictures in here. If you're giving this to a grandma, you could have all the grandkids write little notes and tuck them in there. But again, I think, this, because it doesn't say Happy Mother's Day all over it, could easily be a graduation card, a birthday card, something like that. And all these little pockets can go wherever you want. You could even layer it on this so that you have like multiple layers of pockets. So yeah, so that's that. Thank you for spending time with us. We appreciate it. And we will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.